This story is not about Pablo Rodriguez, it's about how leadership actually ends. The suspense is over. After weeks of political turmoil, the Quebec Liberal's thriller has reached its finale. Pablo Rodriguez, Captain Canada, has resigned as leader of the Quebec Liberal Party after just 6 months. The crisis didn't begin just by a single scandal. It became by something even more revealing: a loss of internal control. Over the past month, a series of events exposed increasingly how the leader is disconnected from his own organization. Decisions taken without knowledge, authority questioned, and confidence eroding. Then came the controversies, allegations surrounding the leadership race, cash envelopes, backroom fundraising, brownies, and multiple investigations into those events, including a criminal one. It quickly became unsustainable. Less than a year away from the Quebec election, the Liberal brand was being dragged back to an era it worked years to escape. Poll numbers collapsed. Former minister, activists, political commentators actively asking for Rodriguez to resign. And finally, the last line of defense gave way: the caucus. Once an extraordinary caucus was called, Rodriguez saw the writing on the wall. In Quebec politics, like in Canadian politics, when confidence from the caucus is gone, you don't have any more options. You only have one. And Rodriguez chose resignation. By doing so, Pablo Rodriguez becomes the first leader of the Quebec Liberal Party not to go into a general election after winning a leadership race. Literally unprecedented. The resignation was unavoidable, not only because of the scandals, but because how the crisis was managed. We saw it in real time, a leader under pressure, unable to change the narrative, unable to pivot, unable to counterattack. But most importantly, this episode confirms a deeper truth about politics. Scandals rarely end leadership on their own. They are triggers, not causes. Leaderships fall when internal authority collapses first. Scandals reveal power deficits. They don't create them. In Rodriguez's case, the problem wasn't a series of bad headlines. In my opinion, the root problem was structural. First, weak bonds with his caucus and his party. Second, and this is fatal in politics, the absence of a defining idea. No strong bonds, no strong ideas. That's a political cemetery. So what happens now? With an election less than a year away, the Liberal Party of Quebec has to move quickly. Internally, the party could appoint a permanent leader, but politically, that's highly unlikely. Instead, expect a short, expedited leadership race in the first months of 2026. The usual names will return from the previous leadership race: Charles Milliard, Carl Blackburn, and possibly others. Milliard represents a generational renewal and organizational strength. He will likely be the frontrunner. Carl Blackburn will argue stability and experience, although his previous ties to previous Liberal administration could be a liability. One name stands apart symbolically: Marois Risky, the former parliamentary leader who got expelled by Pablo Rodriguez and jump-started this whole crisis. Marois Risky is the most popular Liberal in the province. She enjoys high trust. She's perceived as having high ethics, enjoys strong credibility from the public. On paper, she would reset the Liberal Party's image overnight. In reality, she has already declined, chosen family over politics. But you never know. There will be polls showing the Liberal numbers with potential leadership candidates. And what if Marois Risky as a leader could bring the Liberal Party close to power? That would increase pressure to put her name in the race, because the next election is not an ordinary one. With the Parti Québécois ahead in the polls for the last 2 years, there is a real prospect of a new referendum on sovereignty if the PQ takes power. In the next election, Canada will be on the ballot, and the Federalist forces will need all of its best players on the ice. Here's the bigger picture for the Liberal Party of Quebec. Rodriguez did bring back the party in the last 6 months to the mid-20s, a respectable number a year away from the election. But here's the thing, that mid-20s number is misleading. The real crisis for Quebec Liberals is among francophone voters. At 10 to 15% among francophone voters, which is actually the case right now, that is catastrophic for the Liberal Party. Why? Because francophones decide about 80% of the seats in Quebec. Without a good number among francophone voters, there is no pathway to government. The next leader of the Liberal Party of Quebec will need to confront, in my opinion, these two priorities. Number one, cleaning up any real or perceived misconduct, especially around fundraising. And number two, rebuilding trust with francophone voters. Those are the only two roadbacks to relevance. And that's the story we'll be following in 2026. Happy holidays, everyone. This will be the last episode before next year. Thank you so much for all your support on this new project. This is Distinct Quebec Politics with an Accent. I'm Farouk Karim. À l'année prochaine.